So what exactly are we selling in Graphica Digitalis? So as you already know, we are a marketing company. So that kind of explains itself. So it could be paid advertisement, social media management, marketing audit if they just need a quick hand in help, trying to figure out which direction to go. Also from graphical side, so graphic designs like logos, banners, photos, visuals, something like that. Also video editing. And on top of that, also we do a brand book. So basically full branding of the company. So these services can be sold separately or in packages. And those prices to check is in the Notion. So whenever you have time, go over to see what are the prices for individual services and package ones. So from that explanation, it sounds like a basic marketing agency, and that's understandable. So our selling and unique selling point is that we have a sales system, sales process in general, where we actually implement sales process into clients' company, where they take the inquiry that we get from our campaign and bringing him from the whole process to the sale, where we can actually control both sides, how many inquiries we get and actually how many we're gonna close. Because most of the time, companies have issue with one or the other side. Sometimes it's inquiries and ads, they're not getting enough leads, and sometimes they get too much leads, but in the end, not good enough sales process to actually convert them. And in the end, client can say that the results were not met. But most of the times, it's not gonna be from our side because inquiries are there, but sales process are not. So that's the main selling point of this company, where we instead trying to sell the benefits of marketing, but actually the outcome of the whole process. Even though they don't want to have that sales process implemented, we're still trying to sell the outcome of what they could get if they're working with us. So how that sales process look in depth, let's say like that. So you could present to the client in the sales meeting. So at the beginning, we need to store somewhere that information, that client information. So they're gonna have their own CRM system already ready built, ready to integrate, ready to share with the client. Now, of course, we're gonna have two types of leads for that company: warm leads and cold leads. Now, depending on the company, maybe there's no option to cold call to the potential prospects, so that could be not relevant too much to the client. Again, depending on the industry, but for both, there is a contact follow-up or contact sequence for the client. So, for example, if we're gonna get an inquiry, warm inquiry for paid advertisement, there's two options: the person's gonna pick up on the first try, or he's not gonna answer on the first try. So there's two options. If the person's gonna pick up, we have a script for the client to qualify and actually book a meeting. If he's not gonna answer, then we're gonna have a 14-day contact sequence with all the scripts for the SMS and emails to send for the client, so that it could be nurtured, and maybe at the last day when he picks up the phone, he's gonna have pretty much all the information needed to make a decision to actually book a call. Now, of course, moving down the line, there's a sales meeting, and for that also we're gonna have scripts ready to be built in for the client. But those are not the most important part. This is the normal stuff. The more intriguing part for the client could be systems for specific no-show recovery type of situations. So for example, you send a prospect confirmation message, getting answer from him if he's gonna show up to the meeting, and you're not gonna have any answer. So that's the first kind of red flag where you should try to implement the recovery system. And of course, if he's not gonna show up to the meeting, there are systems for these types of situations. So there is no show recovery meeting. So basically, it's a no show to the sales meeting process. Then there's also lost deal reactivation system. So for example, you don't close your deal on the first call, but this prospect is still kind of interested. There's a contacting lead nurturing system to actually reactivate that potential sale. There's also a warm lead nurture. So when you get a warm lead into your CRM, you never book a meeting or never contact them. There's also nurturing, so that in a couple of months you can call him back, he's gonna have all the information. And there's also client expansion and referral engine slash system. So basically we're also implementing upsells, referral systems to the client's business so that you could expand even more channels of how to acquire a client. And on top of that, we're also gonna have automations. So basically all the processes in here also gonna have an automation. Not saying that every email, every message gonna be sent automatically, but basically we are gonna implement it as much as possible. So for example, when they leave contact information to us, we can send an email, SMS with more information about our business, so that when eventually we call, or if they already booked a meeting through some sort of other external link, they're gonna have more information about us. Also, we can automate reminders. So basically almost every step in that process is gonna have some sort of automation. So we could eliminate as much as possible work time and work energy in this sales process, so that the person could actually work on the business and closing the deals.